Welcome to another video lecture in abstract algebra. In the previous lesson, we have studied permutation groups and why they are important or why they are central in the study of groups. In particular, we studied the group S sub n, the finite group S sub n, which is the group of permutations on the set containing the symbols 1, 2, 3, and so on up to n. And we learned that the set of permutations on this set formed a group under function composition. Because this group has an element, this set has an element, then the number of permutations that we can form can be calculated as n factorial. The reason why the group S sub n is central in the study of abstract algebra is the Cayley theorem. It states that every group of order n can be found to be isomorphic to a subgroup of S sub n, meaning to say, if you want to know all the group structures of order n, then you just have to look at the subgroups of S sub n that has n elements in it. Then all the subgroups of S sub n with n elements represents the isomorphism classes of all groups of order n. However, we mentioned that this technique can be a very hard method to study groups because especially when n is large and factorial, studying n factorial elements can be very hard because of its size. In this lesson, we will further investigate the group structure of S sub n by identifying the composition of each elements in S sub n. So here we are defining the term cycle, or a k-cycle to be more specific. So let k be an integer greater than or equal to 2 but less than or equal to n. A k-cycle, or simply a cycle of length k, sometimes we say it that way, it's just a permutation. It's just a permutation denoted by this notation. It's like a parenthesis. It's not an ordered k tuple because we don't put commas. Okay, it's just a list of elements a1, a2 up to ak, where what does this permutation do? Well, it sends a1 to a2, it sends a2 to a3, and so on. It sends ak minus 1 to ak, and then ak is sent back to a1. And all other things that are not listed in this set will be fixed by sigma. More formally, this is our definition. Sigma of ai is ai plus 1, I from 1 up to k minus 1, and sigma of ai is a1 whenever I is equal to k. And that sigma of t is equal to t, or in other words, t is fixed by sigma if t is not found anywhere here. So a k-cycle is also called a cycle of length k. For example, the notation sigma, which is 253, if it is interpreted as a permutation in S sub 5, then this notation is shorthand for this permutation. As you can see, this permutation will send 2 to 5, 5 to 3, then 3 to 3 back to 2, and all others which are not mentioned will be fixed. So using our classic permutation notation, because 1 is not present here, 1 will be fixed, or 1 will be sent to 1. Because 2 is sent to 5, 2 is sent to 5 here. Then 3 is mapped to 2, right? Because 4 was not mentioned here, 4 will be fixed, and 5 will naturally go to 3. Okay? You can interpret a cycle just like the name suggests, to be one that well, that makes cycle among 2, 5, and 3. 2 will go to 5, 5 will go to 3, 3 will go to 2, and so on. Also notice that the cycle 253 can also be expressed as the cycle 532 because this cycle does the same thing as the cycle 253. Still 2 goes to 5, 5 goes to 3, and 3 goes to 2. The same thing goes for here. 2 goes to 5, 5 goes to 3, and 3 goes to 2. However, the cycle 253 is not the same as the cycle 352 because, for example, the cycle 253 sends 3 to 2. However, the cycle 352 sends 3 to 5. A special case is when the cycle has length 2, or which we call as a 2 cycle. In abstract algebra, we call a 2 cycle a transposition because if, let's say, tau is the 2 cycle 3, 5, it meant to say that 3 is sent to 5 and 5 is sent to 3. So in other words, tau simply interchanges 3 and 5 while fixing others. So this is the simplest type of a cycle. Let n be an integer greater than or equal to 3. So obviously the transpositions 1, 2, and 1, 3 are elements of S sub n because n is greater than or equal to 3. Notice that if we multiply tau 1 times tau 2, of course, remember, we write permutation, we write the product from left to right, but we actually multiply it from right to left. The first thing that acts on the elements are the rightmost element. So, in the case of tau 1 times tau 2, 1, 3 acts first before 1, 2. So if we multiply 1, 3 and 1, 2, 1, 2 times 1, 3, what will be the product? Well, you can look at what will happen to the element 1. Where does 1 go? From here, 1 is sent to 3, but 3 is not present here, so 3 will be fixed by this. So all in all, 1 will be sent to 3. Now what will happen to 3? Using the permutation on the rightmost part, 3 will be sent back to 1, and 1 here was sent to 2, so 3 must be sent to 2. Now where will 2 go? 2 is fixed here, but 2 here goes to 1. That's why 2 will be sent back to 1. So in cycle notation, we have confirmed that tau 1 times tau 2 is the cycle 1, 3, 2. Here, I want you to figure out why tau 2 times tau 1 is equal to the cycle 1, 2, 3. As you can see, the cycle 1, 3, 2 is not the same as the cycle 1, 2, 3 because here 1 is sent to 3 while here 1 is sent to 2, so they do different actions, so they are not the same. Therefore, we can conclude that tau 1 times tau 2 is not the same as tau 2 times tau 1. What does this say? As an implication, for n greater than or equal to 3, we have shown that S sub n is non-abelian because we have exhibited two elements which do not commute. So let's take an example. Let sigma be the cycle. This is a 4 cycle, 4, 1, 5, 2. What is sigma to the 4th power? So here, sigma to the 1 is of course sigma. Writing it in expanded form, 4 is sent to 1. Okay, and then 1 is sent to 5. And then 5 is sent to 2. And then 2 is sent back to 4. And all others that were not mentioned will be fixed. If you take the square of sigma, you multiply sigma to itself, you see that 1 gets this permutation. Why? For example, why was 1 sent to 2? Because here 1 was sent to 5, and then 5 here was sent to 2. So as a final image, 1 was sent to 2. 2 was sent to 4, and then 4 was sent to 1. So therefore, as a final image 1. So you can just check this one by one and verify that sigma squared is this permutation. For sigma cube, what do you think will happen? So it is this product. For example, why was 1 sent to 4? Because 1 was sent to 5, 5 was sent to 2, and then 2 was sent back to 4. That's why this is 4. So that goes for every other element from 1 to 6. And finally, sigma to the 4th, you can observe that after doing 4 powers, if you repeat this 4 times, repeat the application of this 4 times, you see that what results is the identity element. So as in this example, we have seen that sigma has order 4. Should it be true for any k cycle? We mean, what is the order of a k cycle? Well, it's always the case that a k cycle has order k. Because you can imagine that if you apply a cycle once, no, it's like doing some kind of rotation. If it's a k cycle and you repeat it k times, then you have to do that same rotation k times, and then after k applications you will go back to your original position. That's why a k cycle has an order k. In fact, the inverse of a k cycle is also a k cycle, but the order in which the elements are written will be now reversed, because here, as you can see, A1 was sent to A2, so that in the inverse, A2 must be sent back to A1. So it's like just reversing the order. Disjoint cycles commute. Now, what do we mean by disjoint cycles? Two cycles are disjoint if the elements listed in the cycle notations form disjoint sets, like so. And when we say disjoint cycles commute, it meant to say that if sigma 1 and sigma 2 are disjoint cycles, then sigma 1 times sigma 2 equals sigma 2 times sigma 1. Why is this the case? Because when sigma 1 and sigma 2 are disjoint cycles, if an element is, let's say, processed by the product sigma 1 and sigma 2, if sigma 2 acted on, let's say, a particular element x, then sigma 1 will just ignore the image. Why? Because the elements here are different from the elements here. Meaning to say, in the product sigma 1, sigma 2, isa lang lagi ang gumagana dyan at a given time. Either sigma 1 or sigma 2, cannot be both, or parehas silang off. Okay? So, therefore, as a consequence, whatever the order is, it won't matter, because these sigmas will act on an element one at a time. Okay, so always remember, when two cycles are disjoint, they commute. This is not to say that S sub n is an abelian group. Remember, S sub n is not an abelian group, but there are types of elements that commute with one another. So we now state one of our most important theorems in this lesson. So for n greater than or equal to 2, every non-identity, so excluding the identity permutation in S sub n, is either a cycle. If it's not a cycle, then it is a product of pairwise disjoint cycles. This theorem simply means that there are only three types of elements in S sub n. 1. The identity, 2. The cycles, and 3. If an element is neither a cycle nor the identity, then it can be written as a product of pairwise disjoint cycles. So basically, the basic building blocks of all the elements in S sub n, remember there are n factorial of them, are mainly the cycles. If an element is not a cycle, then you can write it as a product of cycles. In other words, any kind of rearrangement or permutation may be achieved by performing a sequence of cycles. So isn't it great? So let's now write down the proof. The proof of this is kind of algorithmic and will be very important in the next example. So listen carefully. So let's take an arbitrary permutation in S sub n. So let pi be non-identity where n is greater than or equal to 2. If pi is a cycle, we are done. Therefore, let's assume that pi is not a cycle. What we want to prove here is that pi can be written as a product of disjoint cycles. Let's call the set X, or let's call by the name of X, the set containing the elements 1, 2, up to n. Then, among the elements here, pi, remember, pi is a permutation or an arbitrary permutation in S sub n. It's not the identity, so therefore, certainly, it will not fix everything because only the identity fixes everything. So among the elements, there will always be one that will not be fixed by pi. So among these, let k1 be the smallest integer in this set that is not fixed by pi, meaning to say not fixed, meaning the image is not the same as the input. Then if we take the smallest integer here that is not fixed by pi, let's set the set x sub 1 to be the collection of all, how do we read this? So ang laman netong set na ito, let's write this. Ang laman netong set ito ay pi to the 0 of k1, pi to the 1 of k1, pi squared of k1, pi cube of k1, and so on. Pi to the 0 is the identity, right? So k1 is here, pi of k1 is here, pi of k1 is also here, and so on. So what we are really doing in this set is that we take this element k1 and then keep on applying, put k1 in the set and keep on applying pi on k1, pi of k1. Then on here, i-apply mo ulit si pi, so magkakaroon ka ng pi of k1. Lalabas ng element dito, apply mo ulit si pi forever. No? But remember, this set is not infinite. It's not going to be infinite because the set X is finite. After some time, uulit yan. Do you understand? So, ang laman nito, si K1, tsaka yung mga succeeding images niya, if you keep on repeating pi, keep on applying pi at K1. Alright. Now, among the elements here, we will remove it from X. So, posibleng itong set na to ay ang tawag nito. Now, definitely, itong set na ito, yung x minus x1, hindi yan magiging empty because pi is not a cycle. Right? So, this set will never be empty. So, in other words, pag binawas mo yung laman nito from x, there will always be one element that will remain. Now, among dun sa mga nagre-remain sa x minus x1, pag tinanggal mo ito from here, if every element is fixed by pi, then pi is a cycle. Of course not. No? Of course not. Mali yung we are done. It should be a contradiction because we assume that pi is not a cycle. So if not, if one element in the set that remains when you remove x1 from x, if one of the elements is not fixed, again, kunin mo ulit yung pinakamaliit na integer doon na hindi i-fix ng pi. Let that be k2. Uulitin natin yung gagawin natin sa k2. Tama. Yung ginawa natin sa k1, gagawin natin sa k2. Ilalagay mo si k2 sa set na x2 and then you keep on applying pi, yung mga lalabas na elements, yung collection nun tatawagin mong x sub 2. Now, yung mga lumabas sa x sub 2, yung mga lumabas sa x sub 1, tatanggalin mo ulit sa x. If this is empty, we stop. No? or if each element of this is fixed by pi, we stop. Else, again, kung may natitira pa dito, kunin mo ulit yung pinakamaliit na integer that remains in this set that is not fixed by pi. And then just keep on repeating the process until there will exist an r, so that on the rth step, kulang ito ng union, no? Lagyan natin ng union pag ganoon. There will exist an r, so that on the rth step, ito ay empty na. Mangyayari yan because this set is just finite. Did you understand? Or, pwedeng empty or nafi-fix na lahat ng mga nandito. Anong gagawin natin next? So, meron tayo hanggang r steps, no? Magde-define ako ng r na cycles. Meron akong sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3, and so on, hanggang sigma r. Na ano yung sabihin ng sigma I? Yung sigma I, kapag yung x ay nasa x sub I, nasa ith step, no? Kokopyahin lang natin yung ginagawa ni pi. Whereas, if x is not in x sub I, i-fix lang siya ng sigma I. You will see that this element or this permutation is going to be a cycle, and dahil disjoint yung mga xi at xj for I not equal to j, yung sigma I, sigma j, mga disjoint cycles. Finally, one checks that if you multiply all of this, you will get pi as the result. So therefore, pi is a product of cycles. Now, I think at this point, medyo nalalabuan kayo sa proof, no? But if you see an example, maybe it will be clearer for you. So just like in this case. So express pi as a product of this joint cycle. So ang unang gagawin dito is lista mo muna yung x. Ang x natin meron kang 8 laman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Ang gagawin mo, titignan mo kung sino dito yung mga nafe-fix nung pi. Is 1 fixed by pi? Yes. Is 2 fixed by pi? No. Is 3 fixed by pi? No. Ano yung mga nafe-fix? In fact, in this case, ang nafe-fix lang ay 1. So, kukunin mo yung pinakamaliit na integer na finifix nung ang tag nito? Nung pi. So, yun yung k1. And then, bubuin mo ngayon si x sub 1. Ang gagawin mo, sorry. No. This is wrong. Ang ginawa pala natin, doon sa mga hindi na-fix, pipiliin mo yung pinakamaliit na integer na hindi na-fixed pala. Sorry. Yun yung nandun sa proof, diba? So, lahat naman ito hindi na-fix. Si 1 lang ang na-fix. So, among this, ang pinakamaliit ay 2. Okay? So, ang k1 natin ay 2. So, sino yung x sub 1 na set? Ang gagawin mong x sub 1, ano yung gagawin na x sub 1? Ililista mo si 2, tsaka yung mga succeeding images niya if you keep on applying pi. How do you do that? Pi of 2 is 7. So, ilalagay mo dito si 7. I-apply mo dito si pi. Pi of 7 is 3. So, lalagay mo dito si 3. Pi of 3 is 2. Dahil bumalik ka na, ito yung sinasabi ko, no? Hindi yan magpapatuloy forever kasi nga finite lang yung set. After some time, babalik. So, ito yung laman ng x sub 1. Okay? Tama ba? Okay. And then you will consider x minus x sub 1. Tatanggalin mo yung 273 from the set. Ang matitira, 1, 4, 5, 6, 8. Titignan mo kung lahat ngayon ito ay nafe-fix na ng pi. No? Si 1 nafe-fix, pero si 4 hindi. So, hindi pa tayo mag-stop. I-stop ka lang kapag lahat ito ay nafe-fix na ng pi or naging empty na. Okay. So, titignan mo yung mga hindi na-fix. Like 4, 5, 6, and 8. They are not fixed. Among these, sinong pinakamaliit? Si 4. Kaya yun yung gagawin mong k sub 2. Okay? And then, bubuin mo yung set na x sub 2. Paano binubuo yung set na x sub 2? Lalagay mo si 4. Tsaka yung mga succeeding images niya, if you keep on repeating applying pi. Pi of 4 is 8. pi of 4 is pi of 8, which is 4. Bumalik ka na kagad sa 4. So, sarado mo na. Okay? And then next, tatanggalin mo ngayon yung union ng x1 at x2 sa x. In other words, itong dalawang set na tatanggalin mo doon. Ang matitira, 1, what else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ay, no, wala nang 7. Okay. May tanong ulit. Nakikita nyo parang algorithm yung proof, no? Ganito. Lahat ba ng nandito ay nafi-fixed? 1 is fixed, 5 is not. So, si 5 hindi pa nafi-fixed. Sino sa mga hindi nafi-fixed ang pinakamaliit? Si 5. So, yun yung gagawin yung K3. So, bubuin mo ngayon yung x sub 3, lalagay mo si 5, tsaka yung mga images niya kapag in-apply mo nang in-apply si pi. Pi of 5 is 6, pi of 5 is pi of 6, which is 5. So, dalawa lang ang laman nito, 5 and 6. Okay? Tapos, gagawin mo ngayon ito. Matitira na lang 1. Ang natira na lang ay isang set na lahat naman ay finifix ng pi. So, we stop. Kailan tayo mag-i-stop? Ano yung stopping criteria natin? Kapag ang natira na lang ay mga finifix ng pi. Or naging empty na. Dalawang times ka lang mag-i-stop. Pag naging empty na or lahat ay finifix naman ng pi. So, here, ang R natin ay 3 kasi nakaabot ka hanggang 3. Meron ka ngayon tatlong cycles, sigma 1, sigma 2, tsaka sigma 3. What is sigma 1? Balikan nga natin yung definition. Sigma I simply copies pi kapag yung x ay nandun sa x sub I. Pero if i-fix niya lang lahat ng iba pag yung element ay wala doon sa x sub I. So, sigma 1. Ang titignan nyo dito, ang titignan nyo dito ay yung x sub 1 sa sigma 1, no? Anong gagawin nyo dito? Si sigma 1, kokopyahin lang, no? Kokopyahin mo lang si pi, susulat natin dito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kokopyahin mo lang yung ginagawa ng pi sa 2, 7, at 3. Anong 2, 7, at 3? Ang ginagawa sa 2 ay pinupunta sa 7, 7 dinadala sa 3, at 3 dinadala sa 2. All the rest, if i-fix mo lang. In other words, this is the cycle 2, 7, 3. Actually, parang ito lang yun. Gagawin mo lang parenthesis. Ito naman, kokopyahin mo lang yung ginagawa ng pi sa x sub 2. Ginagawa ng pi sa x sub 2, pinagpapalit lang. Kaya basically, transposition lang ito. Ito rin, 5, 6. Now, you can now check that pi is actually the product 2, 7, 3 times 4, 8 times 5, 6. So, as you can see, pi is a product of disjoint cycles. Let's check if this is correct. Halimbawa, 1. 1 is fixed here, 1 is fixed here, 1 is fixed. So, therefore, 1 will be fixed. 2. 2 is fixed here, 2 is fixed here, but 2 here goes to 7, so that's 7. Right? 3. 3 is fixed here, 3 is fixed here, 3 goes to 2. That's why that's 2. 4. 4 is not here, so fixed. 4 goes to 8. 8 is fixed here, so 8. And so on. You can just check it one by one. And because these cycles are disjoint, you can rearrange it however you want. Because at any given time, isa lang ang gumagana dyan sa tatlo. Pwede mong ilagay yung 5, 6 dito if you wish. No? Well, it doesn't matter. Pare-parehas yan. So when I say write pi as a product of disjoint cycles, any of these will actually do. Okay? So let's answer this question. Let G be a group. where A and B are commuting elements. When you say commuting elements, ang AB ay parehas lang naman sa BA. If the order of A is M, so if it takes you M, the list number para maging identity ang A to the M, and the order of B is N, what do you think is the order of AB? So parang tinatanong mo, kailan kaya magiging halimbawa, bigyan tayo ng example. Ang order ng A kunwari ay 2. So that means A squared is E. And this is the smallest positive integer. Kasi ang order ni B ay 3. So ang B cube ay 3. Kailan kaya magiging identity yung AB to the K para ito ay E? Ano kaya yung K? No? Ibig sabihin ng AB to the K. Ang AB to the K, remember, ay AB, where you get the product K times. But because we said that A and B are actually commuting elements, you can rearrange the elements however you want. So, pwede mong pagsamasamahin lahat ng A, pagsamasamahin lahat ng B. Diba? So, as you can see, if I take K to be 2, yung A to the K magiging E, pero yung B to the K hindi pa. So, hindi pa identity. Kailan kaya magsasabay na E ito? Ito, parang sinasabi mo, kada dalawa nagiging identity. Ito naman, kada tatlo nagiging identity. Kailan magiging identity yung product? Kapag 6. Diba? Paano ko nakuha yung 6? Ang tawag dun ay LCM. So the answer is kailangan yung order ng AB ay yung LCM ng M at N. Magko-follow ngayon ito. If sigma 1 and sigma 2 are disjoint cycles, then the order of sigma 1 times sigma 2, because they commute, should be the order of sigma 1 LCM of the order of sigma 1 and sigma 2. And this extends kahit na ilang factors ito. Bakit ito importante? Kasi nga, lahat ng permutation sa S sub n, kundi identity, kung hindi cycle, product lang ng mga disjoint cycles. So, parang nagkakaroon tayo ng paraan ngayon to determine the order of a permutation. Yan. The order of a permutation pi is the least common multiple of the lengths of the cycles in the disjoint cycle decomposition of pi. So, halimbawa ito, no? Ito yung permutation kanina. How do you write pi as a product of disjoint cycles? Ang technique ganito. Titignan mo muna kung 1 is na-fix. Huwag mo siya isusulat. Si 2 hindi na-fix. Sulat mo si 2. Saan nagpupunta si 2? Sa 7, sa nagpupunta si 7, sa 3, sa nagpupunta si 3, sa 2, sarado mo na. Sino pang hindi na-fix? Si 4. Saan pupunta si 4? Sa 8. Saan pupunta si 8? Sa 4. Sumarado na. Si 5. Si 5 pupunta ng 6. Si 6 babalik sa 5. So, finish na. So, ito yung tinatawag natin disjoint cycle decomposition. Diba? So, anong length nito? Length 3, length 2, length 2. So, ang order nito ay 3, 2, 2. So, ano ngayon yung order ng pi? Ang sagot, LCM ng 3, 2, 2. So, 6. In other words, ang pi raised to 1 hanggang pi raised to 5, hindi pa identity yan. Pero pag kinuha mo yung 6th power niya, magiging identity na. Okay? Now, I want you to observe the following. Observe that IDN for n greater than or equal to 2 can always be written as 1, 2, 1, 2. Why? Because 1, 2 interchanges 1 and 2, fixing all others. If you repeat that one more time, babalik na yung 1 and 2 sa original position nila and all others, kaya identity yan. Right? So, basically, si ID ay product din naman ng dalawang 2 cycles. Hindi nga lang disjoint. Now, look at this. This is an important property. Kapag meron akong n cycle, actually, masusulat ko yun as a product of two cycles or transpositions. Paano? Ang A1 to AN daw ay A1 AN. Parang tinitingnan pang ganito, no? A1 AN. A1 AN minus 1. Parang pabalik. Ang pinakadulo, A1 A2. Bigay tayo na example bakit ito totoo. Parang ang sinasabi nito, kahit na anong cycle daw ay ma-achieve mo by how? Kahit na anong cycle ma-achieve mo by successively interchanging two elements at a time or combinatorially. Any kind of permutation or arrangement, rearrangement can be achieved by swapping two elements at a time. Okay, yun. So, pakita natin sa case when n is 5. Na ito kumari A1, A2, A3, A4 at A5. Pakitandaan yung original position. Ang gagawin ko, i-apply ko yung left hand side dito. And then mamaya i-apply ko isa-isa ito pabalik. Tingnan natin kung parehas yung ngayon lalabas. Pag in-apply mo itong A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, sabihin sa A1 magiging A2, sa A2 magiging A3, sa A3 magiging A4, sa A4 magiging A5. Ayan. Ito yung final image mo pag in-apply mo. Sa A1 kasi naging A2, sa A2 naging A3, sa A3 naging A4, sa A4 naging A5, sa A5 naging A1. So, ano mapapansin nyo? Kanina nandito sa A1, no? So, parang gumanon ka ng isang unit, diba? Nag-rotate. Kasi nga cycle yan, eh. Napansin nyo, no? Nag-rotate ka lang ng 72 degrees. 360 over 5. Now, let's go back to the original position and see what will happen if we apply this one by one. Pabalik, syempre. Ang sabihin natin, pagpalitin natin sa A1 at A2, ayan, nagpalit na sa A1 at A2, nakita nyo? Next, pagpalitin natin si A1 at A3, ayun, nagpalit na sa A1 at A3. Next, pagpapalitin ko si A1 at A4, ayan na. Finally, pagpapalitin ko si A1 at A5, so, that's it. Ano nakapansin nyo? Ito rin yung kanina. Yung nangyari when I did this one. That's why these two permutations are basically the same. So, sa makatwid, lahat ng cycles pala ay na-achieve by successively interchanging two elements at a time. Or in other words, in a more technical sense, any K-cycle is a product of two cycles. Dahil lahat naman ng permutation kung the cycle identity product of disjoint cycles. Bawat cycle ay product pala ng transpositions. Ito ngayon ang nangyari as a result. Every permutation in S of n for n greater than or equal to 2 is actually a product of transpositions. Alam nyo, napakasimple lang ng sinasabi nito. Kahit na anong rearrangement ang gawin mo, no? It can always be achieved by swapping two elements at a time, a finite number of times. Yun yung mensahe ng theorem na ito. Although it doesn't look that way, pero yun siya. Diba? O, halimbawa ito. Write pi as a product of transpositions. How would you do this? So, again, sulat mo muna siya as a product. Cycle ba to? Kung di siya cycle, product of disjoint cycles. Tingnan mo muna yung kauna-unang element na hindi na-fix. So, si 1. Saan pumunta si 1? Sa 6. Saan nagpunta si 6? Sa 2. Saan nagpunta si 2? Sa 5. Saan nagpunta si 5? Teka lang. 5, 5, 1. Yeah. Sino pang hindi na-fix? Si 3. Pumunta sa 4. Si 4 nagpunta sa 3. Sarado na. So, ito na yung disjoint cycle decomposition. Gusto mo maging product of transpositions. So, gagamitin mo yung formula natin sa previous slide. Ito. Paano yung ito. Diba? Pag ganito. Pabalik. So, yung 1, 6, 2, 5, pwede mo isulat yan as 1, 5, 1, 2, 1, 6, and then yung 3, 4, of course, pwede mong isulat ng ganito. So, ito na. Si pi ngayon ay product ng apat na transpositions. Tingnan nga natin kung tama ito. Paano natin malalaman kung tama? Di ba nagsimula tayo sa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Ang unang ina-apply dito ay 3, 4. So, pag ina-apply ko yung 3, 4, pagpapalitin ko yung 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 6. Tapos, sundan mo ng 1, 6. Pagpalitin mo yung 1 at 6. 6, 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. Next, apply natin yung 1, 2. Pagpalitin si 1 at 2. 6, 1, 4, 3, 5, 2. Finally, apply natin si 1, 5. Pagpapalitin natin si 1 and 5. 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, 2. Ano nangyari? Nakita nyo to? Ito, tsaka yun. Diba? So, this is actually pi. This is pi. And that was achieved by successively interchanging two elements at a time. Product of 4 transpositions. Sa abstract algebra, interesado tayo dito. How many transposition factors do you need to achieve pi? So in this case, I was able to achieve pi using 4 transpositions. But actually, hindi ito unique, no? I mean, the number 4 is not unique. Kasi for example, pwede ako magdagdag dito, kunwari, let's say, sa dulo, magdadagdag ako ng 1, 2, 1, 2. Bakit? Yung 1, 2, 1, 2 kasi identity lang naman yan. So, I can also write pi as a product of 6 transpositions. Tama? I could even write it as a product of, let's say, 8. Maglalagay ako dito sa gitna. 3, 4, 3, 4. Tama ba ako? Bakit? Kasi yung 3, 4, 3, 4 na to, tsaka 1, 2, 1, 2 na mga identities lang sila. So, I can write it as a product of 4, 6, and 8. May tanong ako, can I write it as a product of 5? What do you think? The answer is no. Kasi, ang sabi ng next na theorem natin, kung naisulat mo siya an even number of times, then all other ways na masusulat mo siya sa product of transpositions ay dapat even number din. Ito na nga, oh. Let n be greater than or equal to 2 and pi be a permutation in S sub n. If pi can be written as a product of transpositions in two ways, one has R transpositions, other has S transpositions, either R and S are both even or they are both odd. Hindi pa pwedeng yung isang paraan ay even, yung isang paraan ay odd. Now, yung proof na ito ay hindi mahirap, but it's kind of elaborate. Meron itong lemma. And yung proof ay mababasa nyo sa binigay kong reading materials or yung lecture notes natin, no? Yung hindi recorded video. So, I will leave it to you as a reading exercise. Kasi mauubos yung time natin dito sa video. So, let now be n greater than 2. Sabi ko sa inyo, nagmamatter kung ilang transposition factors. Actually, hindi naman nagmamatter yung ilan. Nagmamatter lang kung even or odd. We say that a permutation is even if it can be written as a product of an even number of transpositions. Otherwise, we say pi is odd. Now, for n greater than or equal to 2, obviously, yung identity ay even. Why is that so? Kasi yung ID can always be written as 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is a product of 2 transpositions. Example, which elements of S3 are even and which are odd? Lista muna natin yung elements ng S3. Identity. Ano ito yung 1, 2, 1, 2, diba? Tama. Row 1. Meron tayong row 1 noon. Naalala nyo. 2, 3, 1. This is actually a 3 cycle. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 1. Row 2. Paano to? 3, 1, 2. Tama ba to? So actually, this is the cycle 1, 3, 2. Mu1, ito yung nag-fix ng 1, pinagpapalit si 3 at si 2. So this is a transposition, 2, 3. Mu sub 2, ito yung nag-fix sa 2, pagpapalitin si 3 at 1. So ito ay yung 2 cycle na 1, 3. And mu sub 3 is the one that fixes 3, interchanges 1 and 2. So this is the transposition 1, 2. Yung 3 cycle na ito ay product ng dalawang 2 cycles. Ito rin. Nakuha nyo? So, dalawa. So, parang lumalabas even, even. Tapos ito, add, at ito ay add. Kasi isa lang. So, ano napansin nyo? Kalahati nung S sub 3 lumalabas even, kalahati ay add. What else do you notice? Pag gagawin nyo yung table ng mga even, let's say ID, row 1, row 2, ID, row 1, row 2. Makikita nyo yung tatlong even bumubuo ng group na isomorphic sa Z sub 3. Huh? I hope you can observe that. And this observation is not really a coincidence, no? There's actually a result that tells us exactly that. So let n be greater than or equal to 2. Tawagin nating AN yung set of even permutations in S sub n. So lahat ng even nasa A sub n. Ano sabi tungkol sa A sub n? A sub n is actually a subgroup of S sub n. No surprise. With exactly n factorial over 2 elements. So tama ang hinala natin. Nakalahati kasi n factorial yung S sub n, di ba? So kalahati ng S sub n palagi even, kalahati ay odd. So there are two things to prove in this theorem. What are the things that we need to prove in this theorem? Dalawa. Una, subgroup yung A sub n. Diba? Pag subgroup, ano yung mga tinetest? Identity. Talaga naman identity ay even, di ba? Tama ba ako? Talaga nasa A sub n yan. Pangalawa, closure. Pag meron akong, let's say, epsilon 1, epsilon 2 in AN, no? Bakit yung product na epsilon 1, epsilon 2 nasa AN pa rin? Kasi ano? Kasi kung si epsilon 1, masusulat mo siya as a product of even, let's say, 4 na transpositions. Para ito yung epsilon 1. Para sa epsilon 2, masusulat mo siya as 6. Gamit tayo ng ibang letter. Wala na akong Greek letter. Kunwari, tau, omega. Kunwari, 6 na transpositions to. Ilang transpositions lahat yan pag minultiply mo? Diba 10? Tama ba ako? 10. Even pa rin. Ang reason kasi even plus even is even. Okay? Pangatlo, pag si epsilon ay even, dapat yung inverse niya rin ay even. Bakit? Kasi halimbawa si epsilon ay product ng kunwari 4 na transpositions. Anong inverse niya? Baligtad, diba? Tau 4 inverse, tau 3 inverse, tau 2 inverse, tau 1 inverse. Na may property ang mga transpositions. Ang inverse ng mga transpositions, actually, sarili nila. Order 2 kasi sila. Kaya tau 4 pa rin ito, tau 3, tau 2, tau. Kasi pag pinagpalit mo dalawang elements in a set, Pagpalitin mo ulit sila, babalik ka na sa dati, no? So, self-inverse. So, 4 na transpositions pa rin. Nagbago ba? Hindi. Kaya even pa rin. So, yun yung reason. Ito na lang, bakit kalahati ng S sub n ay even, kalahati ay odd? Tawagin natin ngayong B sub n be the set of all odd permutations in S sub n. Tawagin natin B sub n. To show that kalahati even ay odd, one can prove that an and bn have the same number of elements. Okay? Pakita natin na magkasing dami si an at bn to prove that kalahati ay an at kalahati ay bn. Paano natin ginagawa sa math when we wanted to show the two sets have the same number of elements? Do we count? No, not really, especially when the sets are infinite. No? Pero in this case, finite naman. Pero normally, in mathematics, when you want to prove that two sets have the same number of elements, you don't count the elements. You establish a bijection. Because a bijection will prove that an element in A, a set A, corresponds to a unique element in set B, and every element in set B corresponds to a unique element in A. So, in that way, parang yung mga daliri mo sa kalawang kamay at kanang kamay, pwede mong ipag-match na ganon. Pag naipag-match mong ganon, sabihin, kahit hindi mo bilangin, alam mo na magkasing dami sila kasi alam mong walang sumobra. Nakuha nyo sa matching. So, one way is to establish a bijection. So, ganitong gagawin natin. Define a function f from an to bn as follows. Pag may even permutation ako, para maging odd siya, anong pwede kong gawin? Kasi si epsilon ay product ng even transpositions. Ang gagawin ko, magdadagdag ako ng isang transpositions by multiplying the transposition 1, 2 on the left. Meaning to say, kung meron akong even permutation na epsilon, ang gagawin ko, further, pagpapalitin ko pa yung 1 and 2. When that happens, magiging odd na siya kasi nagdagdagan ka na ng isang transposition. You can now check that f is bijective. Bakit siya 1 to 1? So, pag may f epsilon 1 ka, equal sa f epsilon 2, get 1 to epsilon 1 equals 1 to epsilon 2. But we are working in a group, so cancellation laws hold. Epsilon 1 equals epsilon 2. So, therefore, f is 1, 1. Okay? Bakit naman siya onto? Kasi kapag kumuha ko ng omega dito sa bn, so add siya, no? Saan siya manggagaling na even permutation? Ang gagawin ko lang, take epsilon to be 1, 2. Magdadagdag lang ulit ako ng 1, 2 sa omega. Kasi kapag in-apply ko ngayon yung f sa omega, ano mangyari? Sa epsilon, mangyari, magdadagdag ako ng 1, 2 sa epsilon, mangyari 1, 2, 1, 2, omega. Identity to. So, parang sinasabi natin, kasi as a function, every element in an corresponds to a unique element in bn. Ang nangyari dito, yung onto-ness will guarantee also that every element in bn corresponds to an element in an. Dahil 1 to 1 yan, bijective na. Magka-follow ngayon na pares ng cardinality sa an at bn. So, dahil ang S sub n merong n factorial na elements, magka-follow na si a sub n may kalahati. That completes the proof. In fact, this group, the group an, containing only the even permutations in S sub n, is what we call in the business as the alternating group on n symbols. Why is this important? Well, especially when n is greater than or equal to 5, napakahalaga niyan sa abstract algebra kasi it has been shown that for n greater than or equal to 5, a sub n is simple. Meaning to say, walang paano ba sasabihin in simple words? Wala siyang non-trivial normal subgroup. Pagkaaralan natin yung mga normal subgroups in the future. And why is that important? That fact leads us to the yung famous na problem sa abstract algebra, yung tinatawag na insolvability of the quintic. Bakit walang solutions? Walang general solution in radicals ang mga polynomials of degree 5 and up. May kinalaman itong group na ito historically. So let's look at A sub 4 finally. So how many elements are there in A sub 4? A sub 4 has 24. So A sub 4 has 12 for factorial divided by 2. So, paano natin ililista isa-isa yung 12 na yun? Of course, yung identity, palaging una yan sa listahan, di ba? Pangalawa, ano pa ba mga sources ng even? Ano pang sources ng even permutations? Naalala niyo yung property na to. Pag meron akong k cycle, product siya ng ilang 2 cycles. Ilan to? As you may notice, ito ay n minus 1 lahat. So, kung gusto ko ng even na permutation, no? I need to begin with an odd cycle. Kasi pag nagsubtract ka ng 1 sa odd cycle, magiging even. Wala ka namang 5 cycles sa A sub 4. Diba? Kasi hanggang 4 lang ang elements niyan. Meron kang 3 cycles. So, ang mga 3 cycles ay isa sa mga options mo. Okay, 3 cycles. Sige, mag-list down tayo ng mga 3 cycles na pwede natin gawin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2. In fact, inverses itong dalawa. Okay, you can check. What else? 1, 3, 4. Yung inverse niya, 1, 4, 3. Yung 3, 1, 2, hindi ko nasusulat. Yung 3, 2, 1, hindi na kasi ito lang dalawa rin yun. What else? 1, 2, 4. Nakalimutan ko. And 1, 4, 2. What else? 2, 3, 4. And 2, 4, 3. So, ilan na? Nakakailan na tayo? 8 ito. 8. Ito ay isa. 9. Ilan na lang? 3. Ano pa yung 3 nawawala? Meron pa ba? You can verify na ito na lahat ng mga 3 cycles. Lahat ng mga maisip mong 3 cycles ay mag-fall na lang kahit alin dito sa 8. Actually, another way, kasi kapag ito'y dinicompose mo, itong 8 na to, pag dinicompose mo, diba, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Pag dinicompose mo to as a product of 2 cycles, 1, 3, 1, 2. Yung decomposition na to, yung hindi disjoint. Hindi sila disjoint cycles. Kuha nyo? May 4 na elements ka naman na ipapermute. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you could have products of disjoint 2 cycles. Kasi dito product ng disjoint 2 cycles. You could have elements of the form, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. None of this will equal this one. What else? 1, 3, 2, 4. Ang ginagawa ng 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, pinagpapalit si 1 and 2 at the same time si 3 at si 4. Ito pagpapalitin si 1 and 3 at the same time si 2 at si 4. Ano pa? You could have 1, 4, 2, 3. O, dahil 12 na ito, sure na ako na yan ang lahat ng elements ng A sub 4. Okay? So, meron akong challenge sa inyo. Pwede nyo bang isa-isahin lahat ng mga elements ng A sub 5? Ang A sub 5 may 5 factorial divided by 2 or 60 elements. Could you list them down? Anong itsura ng mga elements ng A sub 5? Okay. Next lesson, pag-aaralan natin how we can use these ideas to study symmetries. Pag-aaralan natin yung mga dihedral groups. Okay? See you next time.